Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing great. I want to talk to you today about gold and silver. The price is going down, but I want to talk to you about the stock market, stocks. I also want to tell you that I'm going to be at an investment seminar that is put on by Rick Rule. If you don't know who Rick Rule is, amazing investor in the commodities space, especially metals space, right? But everything from uranium to gold, silver. I mean, he runs the whole gamut down in Boca Raton, Florida. I'm going to be there in July. I'm going to put a link to the event if you guys want to meet up, or if you want to learn more about investing from definitely a contrarian. Rick Rule is the man, and he's going to have amazing talent there speaking and teaching people about the commodity sector. Okay. So I'm going to put that link back there. Now, I also want to talk about today. So I'm a contrarian investor, and I had a comment the other day about why is gold and silver going down? And I do so many videos about this. And I talk about the paper markets. I've talked about it many times before. I give illustrations or go back and tell stories about 2008 where gold and silver were selling off the year prior to, or about the 6-7 months prior to when Lehman Brothers crashed. And then they bottomed the prices, found a floor, and started to take off about a month or 6 weeks later after Lehman Brothers closed its doors, right? And I talk about the multi-year bull run it went on, and put it in examples of like how much real estate you could have bought, because as precious metals were then going up and then stocks and real estate were going down, when you turn around and you sold those precious metals investments, you could have bought so much more real estate and so much more um, stocks, like blue chip stocks, dividend paying stocks, when those dividends also exploded because companies were still making a profit or inking out a profit, and they were still paying dividends. But since the share price had collapsed, the rate of return was like 14-15% on some blue chip stocks. And that's what I want to take advantage of in this next downturn. Well, right now we are seeing the exact same thing. Stock market selling off, so are paper and gold and silver. But something that's happening right now that didn't happen in 2008 to 2010 was we didn't have so much media presence following what's going on in the precious metals market, especially in silver. You guys know that I know Jim Lewis and Ivan from Wall Street Silver. There's never been this kind of attention in social media on precious metals, and then instruction or teachings on inflation, right? So that's something we haven't seen ever in history. And then you couple that with that's caused an uptick in demand in precious metals, and what you're seeing is the premiums just explode, right? So that's what's happening, and it's normal that paper markets are selling off, especially gold and silver, along with all these other stocks, because big funds or even individuals, retail investors, are going out and either getting margin calls, and they're trying to sell their shares, their best performers right now, in hopes they're raising cash. That's why you see a demand on the dollar as opposed to the euro and other currencies. So you see the DXY increasing in value, because people are hoping that the stocks keep falling, and then they repurchase their great shares that they love, or they're emotionally attached to, or they have the fundamentals, right, that they're hoping to get more at a lower price because they just want to take advantage of this downturn. The problem is when it snaps back, like when gold found its bottom, it sort of snaps pretty fast, especially in relation to other assets that are still falling, like real estate or stocks. And so I want people to understand that, but I also want to stress this, that when you're dealing with gold and silver, and I know lots of people, I own mining stocks, right? Why? Because they're so seriously leveraged to the price of physical metal. And like David Morgan has said before, a friend of mine, the silver guru, he said, I've made money in precious metals, but I really made my big money in precious metals equities, like mining equities, right? Junior miners. And I want to stress this enough. Don't go all in. This isn't the time to go all in. Nibble at these stocks and learn about them. Like when I'm going to see Rick Rule, and we're going to this conference, because we're going to learn from uh, uber wealthy people, multimillionaires to billionaires in this event. And we're going to learn the fundamentals. And then we're looking at these companies now, because, I bought companies that, as silver was going up, and I bought mining companies and they dipped down. when silver would come down like $3 or $4, these mining equities would drop like 50%. Well, what did I do? I bought a little bit more, right? But I'm never buying more than when money that I need. And that's the problem that most people get into. They over speculate. They put a ton of money that they're going to need eventually, like to live on or to buy a house or something like that. And then when they want to go and sell their assets, their stocks, to go and buy their dream house, or they need it to live on because they just lost their job, those stocks aren't performing well, right? Well, you lost your job, or you finally found your dream house is going down because everything's going down. So I want to stress that you have to take not only contrarian viewpoint, that's why you're in precious metals, but also a viewpoint of I can't commit too much money that I'm going to need later for something else. So I beg you to slow down. I want people to do that. You have to be thinking rationally right now. Now, with that being said, when you start to see that bubble just start to inflate, because the inflation narrative, we're going to go from inflation to hyperinflation. We are going to do that. And we're going to see it, not all like in the US, we won't see it across the board like we did in the Weimar Republic of Germany, you know, almost a century ago now. But you're going to see transitory hyperinflation. And what I believe is you're going to see things like gold and silver start to hyperinflate. Now, will that happen tomorrow? No, it will not. Will it happen in the next couple of years? I do believe you're going to see the bubble start to expand on precious metals prices there then. But in the meantime, I want you to be very hesitant on how much you put into it, because that's very important, right? There are people, I'll give you an example. I bought silver at $50 back in 2010. And I still have that silver today. Am I bummed? No. Did I buy more when it down? Heck yeah. Was I stressed? Did it keep me from buying a home or feeding my family or going on vacations? No, it did not. Right? Because I invested smart. I invested the money that I could afford to hold on to, not lose. People say it all the time, if you, and it's true, you only lose when you sell. And if you're buying on good, solid fundamentals, all it means is that I'm not putting more money that I am willing to have to hold on to for a longer period of time. And that's how you've got to look at these things. And I want people to understand that, because I think it's very, very vital in this day and age to invest smartly, right? There's a lot of money to be made. And we've always heard stories about the guy that bought the lotto ticket and made a fortune, but you don't ever hear about how much he lost before that, or even like family members he lost because of a habitual gambling problem. On top of that, those instances are so rare. It's like a unicorn just running around. You're like, how often are you going to see that? Right? And so you have to, people became wealthy like Rick Rule by not going out and making crazy speculative bets. They made smart moves, but they made lots of moves, lots of them. They didn't put everything into one basket. And I want people to get that through their mind. Diversify, diversify, diversify. But even inside of your diversification, when you're talking about, let's say, precious metals investing or stock investing, diversify that as well. And I want people to just be at peace. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I hope you guys got something out of this, because I want you guys to succeed. And so I'm going to be at this investment conference in Boca Raton, Florida. It's going to be at the end of July. I'm going to put a link to the event down below. If you'd like to check it out, that'd be awesome. All right, guys, that being said, the Economic Ninja is out.